The room smelled of dust and cold metal. Fluorescent lights hummed above, flickering like nervous thoughts. I stood alone in a narrow hallway, walls painted an exhausted gray. My footsteps echoed too loudly, as if the building was listening. The air felt heavy, pressing against my chest with every breath. A single door stood at the end of the corridor. No label, no handle, just a faint red light glowing above it. I reached out, my fingers trembling as they brushed the surface. The door was warm, unnaturally warm. Behind it, something moved. A low vibration traveled through the floor and into my bones. My ears rang softly, like a distant alarm buried deep underground. I swallowed, tasting metal at the back of my throat. The light above the door flickered once. Then twice. A voice whispered through hidden speakers. It spoke my name, not loudly, not gently, precisely. My skin tightened as if the sound had weight. I stepped back, heart pounding against my ribs. The walls seemed closer now. Breathing became difficult. The floor trembled again, stronger this time. A thin seam of light appeared around the door's edges. White and blinding, it spilled across the floor like liquid. From inside came a smell of burned wires and old paper. Memories rushed into my mind that did not belong to me. Faces I had never seen. Places I had never visited. Screams I had never heard. Yet they felt familiar, too familiar. The door began to open on its own. Slowly, painfully slowly. The sound it made scraped against my nerves. Inside, the room was vast and circular. Screens covered every wall, thousands of them. Each screen showed a different moment. Different people, different lives, all frozen in fear. I saw a man staring at his reflection, eyes hollow. A woman clutching her head as invisible hands closed in. A child screaming silently into a camera. The lights dimmed behind me. The door closed without a sound. The warmth turned into heat. Sweat rolled down my spine. A central screen flickered to life. It showed me, standing there, watching myself watch it. The voice returned, closer now. It explained how truth was never hidden. It was filtered, edited, repeated until it felt harmless. My reflection on the screen smiled. I did not. The screens began to change. Images shifted rapidly. News headlines dissolving into raw footage. Smiling leaders replaced by trembling hands. Celebrations melting into scenes of silence and smoke. My ears filled with overlapping whispers. Every lie ever spoken layered together. The sound grew unbearable. I covered my ears, but it made no difference. The floor beneath me cracked slightly. A deep hum rose from below. The building breathed. The screen showed a final message. It said the truth was never meant to be understood, only accepted when it was too late. The lights went out. Darkness wrapped around me like a living thing. Something cold touched my ankle. Then my wrist. The whispers stopped all at once. In the silence, I realized the truth was not on the screens. It was standing right behind me, my breath caught in my throat. The air behind me shifted. Warm, slow, intentional. I did not turn around. Every instinct warned against it. The silence grew thicker, pressing against my ears. A faint sound emerged. Not footsteps. Not breathing. More like fabric sliding over skin. My shadow stretched forward on the floor, but another shadow merged with it. Taller. Wrongly shaped. The smell changed. Dust faded into something organic. Copper. Old sweat. The screens flickered back on without warning. They no longer showed the world. They showed reactions. People discovering something they were never meant to see. Eyes widening. Hands shaking. Mouths opening in silent disbelief. I felt a pressure at the base of my skull. A sharp pulse. Images flooded my mind. Underground rooms filled with wires and glass tanks. Rows of people sitting motionless, eyes open, mouths slack. Their thoughts extracted like fuel. Fear refined into control. Confusion shaped into obedience. The presence behind me leaned closer. Its breath brushed the back of my neck. Cold and damp. My skin crawled. A whisper slid into my ear. It told me this place existed everywhere. Different buildings. Different names. Same purpose. I clenched my fists, nails biting into my palms. Pain grounded me. Barely. The central screen pulsed again. It showed a diagram of a human brain. Highlighted sections glowed red. Emotion centers. Memory storage. Decision making. Each label appeared with calm precision. The voice explained how truth disrupted balance. How awareness created instability. How discomfort was dangerous. The pressure in my head intensified. I dropped to one knee. The floor felt soft now. Almost rubbery. As if it was alive. The screens shifted again. This time they showed history. Not the polished versions. The hidden cuts. Moments removed from textbooks. Agreements made in shadows. Experiments buried under progress. Every shock I felt echoed across the room. The presence behind me reacted. It seemed pleased. A long, slow sound escaped it. Something between a sigh and a growl. My vision blurred at the edges. The room tilted. I tasted blood. The voice said I had been selected. Not chosen. Selected. Because I noticed patterns. Because I questioned comfort. Because silence never felt natural to me. A sharp object pressed against my spine. Not piercing. Measuring. Scanning. Data streamed across the screens faster now. My heart rate. My fear response. My memories. Moments from my childhood appeared without warning. Private. Exposed. A room where I once asked too many questions. A teacher who avoided my eyes. A screen went dark every time curiosity rose. I realized then this place had always been watching. Not just me, everyone. The pressure lifted suddenly. I gasped, air burning my lungs. The presence stepped away. Its shape reflected briefly on a polished surface. Too many joints. Too few features. Designed, not born. The voice softened. It said resistance was expected. Temporary. It said understanding came next. A low tone filled the room. Not sound. Frequency. My thoughts slowed. Fear dulled into numbness. The screens dimmed to a single image. A door identical to the one I entered. Except this one was open. Light poured out, warm and inviting. The voice explained compliance felt like relief. Questions faded. Edges smoothed. The world became easier to carry. My legs trembled as I stood. The presence returned to my side. Guiding. Patient. Its touch no longer felt cold. It felt reassuring. That terrified me more than anything else. As I stepped toward the open door, something inside resisted. A sharp spark. A memory of discomfort. Of unease. Of truth scraping against comfort like broken glass. The screens flashed violently. Alarms pulsed red without sound. The presence stiffened. Its grip tightened. The voice rose slightly, losing its calm. It warned me about instability. About consequences. About what happened to those who refused to forget. The light ahead flickered. For a brief moment, I saw beyond it. Not freedom. Not escape. Rows of doors. Endless corridors. And people walking willingly into them. Smiling. Unaware. The hidden truth pressed against my mind again. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Unavoidable. And I understood the most disturbing part. They did not hide the truth from us. They trained us to look away. The realization settled slowly inside me. Heavy. Unforgiving. The presence beside me loosened its grip. Not from mercy. From certainty. It believed the choice was already made. I looked again. At the endless corridors on the screen. People walking forward without fear. Without doubt. Without discomfort. Their faces were calm. Empty of questions. The light from the open door washed over my feet. Warm. Inviting. Engineered. I felt the pull of it inside my chest. A promise of rest. A life without friction. A mind without sharp edges. The voice spoke one last time. It said peace was waiting. It said truth was a burden no one needed. My heartbeat slowed. Then steadied. Then strengthened. I remembered the unease. The shock. The fear that had burned through me when the screens first revealed themselves. That pain meant something. It meant awareness. I took one step forward. Then stopped. The presence shifted beside me, confused. The screens flickered again, reacting to my hesitation. I turned, finally facing the thing that stood with me. Its form wavered under my gaze. As if being seen weakened it. I understood then why discomfort was dangerous. It sharpened sight. It broke illusions. I stepped away from the light. The warmth faded instantly. Alarms pulsed silently across the room. The voice fractured, repeating warnings that no longer held power. The screens began to crack, images distorting and collapsing into static. The building trembled, struggling to maintain its calm facade. I walked back toward the darkness where fear once waited. It no longer felt empty. It felt honest. The presence retreated, dissolving into shadow and noise. The room dimmed until only one screen remained. It showed nothing, just reflection. My own face stared back at me. Tired, alert, awake. The screen went dark. The lights shut down one by one. Silence returned, clean and real. I stood alone, breathing steadily. The truth still weighed on me. It always would. But I understood now. The hidden truth was not meant to destroy us. It was meant to test whether we preferred comfort or clarity. I stepped forward into the dark, carrying the discomfort with me. Not as a curse, as proof that I was still choosing to see.